Good afternoon. Welcome to Too Much Dip, the Too Much Dip podcast specifically. I'm Dave. I'm going to host. We're live here in Austin, Texas. Joining me in studio today, looking fit, it's Dylan Shivery.
Oh.
What are you weighing in at now? Tell the folks.
I'm about 178 at the moment, which is not where I want to be.
Where do you want to be?
I want to be about 183. I think that's a good fighting, walking around weight for me. So I'm just having trouble keeping the weight on right now, but it's okay. Thank you for the compliment.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
Drinking a Saps. I see you.
I was also expecting you to intro Brett first, as that's what you usually do when someone's sitting next to me, even though I've been staple on this podcast since its inception. But that's okay. Glad to be here. Podcast week.
I've got a staple anecdote for you, but let me introduce our guest. It's Brett Merriman.
Most of you will enjoy this football season in moderation while having lots of fun and entertainment.
Okay.
The fantasy leagues will provide banter amongst friends, and money won or lost betting won't affect you. I will be betting this year. That's Phil Mickelson did.
Yeah, yeah. The top response isn't great.
Followed by 500 more words.
Yeah,
It's
a lot of words.
It's a long, serious tweet, and people responded to it in many ways.
Many ways.
Some good, some bad.
Thank you for having me, Dave. I'm excited to talk sports.
I'm happy to have you, man. This is going to be a fun show. Joining us remotely, a guy who's just ride or die washed. It's KJ.
From my toes to my elbows. I don't think that's accurate. I got a lot of wash stuff on today. How about that?
We're not doing shoes yet.
I've got the new dippy shoestrings.
Or elbow pads, for that matter.
Would that be the weirdest thing you could possibly get? It's like, here's a limited edition elbow pad.
Wrist guards and elbow pads are next.
For all my bladers out there.
DJ Bean would buy.
He would buy. He would be one of 5 people.
He'd be the only one. And we'd appreciate him for it.
Real popular around your adult league hockey groups. How about that?
Fair.
What if we just did custom like hockey gear?
There you go.
High margins on that.
They would. I know 70 to 85 people that would buy it that I have direct contact with.
We should talk about that. KJ, what's going on up there? What's the weather?
We're gonna peak out at 72 degrees. Fall is definitely here, fellas. Every day, just a little bit more beautiful. But in all honesty, it is the balance between yes, I've got true fall season here, but I am beginning to collect some of the heavier coats out of the closet, knowing that the joyful days of great weather is probably got 60 to 70 days lifespan on it.
Do you have any foliage changing, KJ?
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
What's that like?
But
That must be nice, man.
by October, we'll be in peak leaf change season.
Damn.
Tobes.
Hey, don't forget to get your big trench coat out of your closet so you can go Little Rascal style in some situation.
Just Kai and KJ in a big coat.
Oh
Just
my
his
God.
legs. I do have a parka that buttons. I'd probably say that it's like elementary school. It passed the skirt test, like the dress code skirt test of the whole, if the hem of your skirt is further than the fingertips in terms of distance to your knee, I would say my coat would approach passing that test. I don't know if my fingers go past the sides of it.
Dave Matthews would approve.
Where are you going with that one?
A little bit of a trench coat.
Hike up that skirt a little more.
Hike down in front of the world.
A little uncomfortable with that line.
A little
but
dirty.
Yeah, it's kind of a dirty song if you really listen to the whole thing.
I don't like horny Dave Matthews.
He's got a couple really horny songs that I won't bring up, but he's a very horny man.
Is he?
Yeah.
Like diabolically horny?
Yeah, he talks about peaches in the context of, I'll leave it there. There's
Nick
there's
Cage
many...
face off peaches.
What's that?
Like Nick Cage face off peaches. It's like I could eat a peach for hours.
Yeah, it's some along those lines. Yeah.
Can we clean this place up? What is going
Dave
on?
said horny Dave Matthews.
It's a
You
movie
guys are
and
diabolically horny.
Dave
all the
Matthews is
time.
a very popular artist.
Chin dripping.
I'm just sick of y'all, man.
He's the original jam band.
No,
He is on my list of wouldn't be surprised if, but
if he got popped for something.
exactly.
His violinist famously did, Boyd Tinsley. He was touching kids. So
Okay.
Okay. I don't have Dave on that list, but
Dave
okay.
Matthews, to be clear.
Dave, yeah.
Let's pull this thing out of the gutter, Dave. You're the host. You got to get us
I
there.
told you I haven't been. My kid's sick. I'm sleeping poorly. This is kind of on you. That's why I was telling you that.
You can't let the.
Why don't you step up?
All right. You know what? Let's. Hey, football, man. How about it?
Okay.
You guys hear about this football shit that's going on?
Hey, before we get into football, man, we do live streams every other Thursday. Guess what? This Thursday, there's a live stream, a Too Much Dip live stream leading into Thursday night football. What's Will doing?
Oh, we got our sponsored kits.
Oh, we got Johns.
Are they sick?
We got new Johns.
Well, they're kind of sick.
Okay.
No, they're not.
We were
Are they?
just when we got
Did you
this thing
see
out of the
Will?
gutter, we just got distracted.
Oh, was he wearing
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sorry. We do live streams every Thursday.
More on that later. What we were just.
And
Sorry.
leading into Thursday night football, 6:30 Central. We have a guest on. We pick games. I think I'm 500 this season, which I don't hate.
I'm just mopping the floor with you idiots. At this
KJ sneakily 311.
terrible.
Mhm.
Yes, sneakily 311. I appreciate that. I'll go ahead and read out the records for the crowd. David on the season, 7-7, 1-1 on your big boy stacks. Dylan
Oh.
at 10-4, also
Ooh.
1-1.
Okay.
The listeners, which yes, this year you can also submit your dip picks along with us each week. We'll tweet out or post a Google Forms link. Listeners not that great at 6-8 on the season. They split their big boy
How
stack.
do you guys? So
What?
as a listener who votes in these things, how do you go about? Is it the most like votes per game
Correct,
kind of
correct.
thing? Okay.
So I go with majority rule on the collective listener votes. I do single out Brett, and if Landry participates or if I see Will
okay.
come through and participate, I do single out your record. So I am tracking that.
Oh,
Um,
do you have?
I
that
believe week
available?
1 you were 500. You were 500. I'll have to go back and look at week 2.
Week 2 did not go well personally. I'll put it that way.
No, it did not. And not to bury the lead, I am 3-11 on the year with a 1-1 split on my big boy stacks. I'll also keep track of the best week each week by a listener. You have to enter your Google or your Gmail so that you can only do 1 entry a week. If we see somebody who's like standing out, everything's timestamped, so you've got to get your picks in on time. You can't beat the system. DraftKings Sportsbook provides all of our odds, all of our lines. So if we got somebody we need to be following, we may need to look into their services. We'll see.
Okay.
Good to know.
It's a good time. Hey, I alluded to a staple earlier, real quick before we get into it. Brett and I tried to go to the infamous sandwich / taco / pizza spot that
You try to run it back.
we tried to run it back. My idea, by the way. I love what their menu's doing. I think it looks like it's going to be really good. So I was like, Brett, I'll drive. Let's go get it. Yeah, it wasn't open.
What is wrong with that
Dude,
place?
Dylan, I know.
Can we
That one was my fault.
That was on me.
briefly reset? I think you mentioned this place has multifacets, but for the Too Much Dip listener who may not be fully informed.
Brett calls it a ghost kitchen with a
Okay.
bar.
Promote the newsletter, Dave.
Washed Weekly. We do a newsletter. Where can you get
Thank
it?
you.
Wash.substack?
Wash.substack.com, I want to say, is where you can find it. Subscribe. I wrote about this in the newsletter that dropped on Friday. I don't know if can you go back and read ones that have already been posted if you subscribe?
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go check it out. I wrote all about it. Funny situation.
Yeah. Which you got to read it. You got to go subscribe if you want to see it. But so we went. It's basically they have 3 completely different cuisines that might be separate entities, separate restaurants, but they have one bar and like one dining area.
Yeah.
We tried to go last week. It didn't work out. Tried to go today. It didn't work out. So we went down to another place. I'm not going to put them on blast, but it's a good spot that we frequent. I got a side pasta salad, and they gave me a bonus staple in my pasta salad, which I
Right.
did not. It did not enter my mouth. I spotted it before.
Like the little
yeah.
a staple.
Yeah.
I thought you
Not
meant
like something commonly used.
No.
Oh,
Like
no.
there was a staple in my pasta salad, which is just not ideal. I don't think my gut's got a number of issues already.
Yeah, you
Not
don't need
really
that.
looking to add
You need to add metal to the mix.
office fixtures.
Yeah, two things. I felt bad because it sort of was on me. I picked the backup spot. So I guess I'll take the blame on that one. And two, usually KJ is the one ingesting things that could potentially kill you before this show.
Okay, fair.
did drink
This is
bleach.
not what. Briefly and accidentally, but this is not what it means to get your stomach stapled. Not sure about the pump, but the staple. This is certainly not how that happens.
No, you'd have to ask. Never mind. I was
Yep,
going to say a
yep.
certain celebrity that was always rumored to stomach pumping, but who knows?
Hmm.
Yeah, gerbil situation too. That's not a pump situation, but anyway,
Let's switch gears.
let's talk college football. Somebody's over there prepping that run it back.
A little bit. Don't look at my shit. You can't screen look.
I saw you typing away. I was like, what?
Don't you have access to the same doc?
Yeah, I
Look
do.
at your own shit, man.
You guys just docking.
What was that?
Siri chiming in.
Do we get new sound
with an
effects?
LOL.
So the reason Brett's here is because he was just I don't know if he's steaming or just horny to talk college football. He's been writing a college football column for the aforementioned Washed Weekly for about the last 2 months.
Here's a little preview.
It's
for
like
Dylan.
6,000 words.
I don't really-
including charts and graphics and
Don't really know what you're doing with it, but I'm excited to read it, or at least say I read it. Brett, give me your thoughts. What's going on here? Where are we kicking off?
You know, you were right. I'm both steaming and aged to talk about college football. I don't have a venue to talk about these things with. And so thank you for giving me the opportunity. The only thing I'm really steaming on right now is the love of Colorado and the clock stoppage rules.
Okay, let's start with Colorado. I had that on my rundown here.
And beat a team before, and TCU is not a team. TCU beat a team before we fall in love, and before we go
come
before we go prime time. Let's beat a team. Let's see what Oregon. Let's see what happens if they go into Oregon and they clean up. Fine, I'm on the Dion train. But just let's hold off.
I thought, look, I'm not ready to poo-poo TCU yet.
here's where I come out on it. They were 1-11 last year, one of the worst teams in college football.
Yep.
Imagine being like on that campus right now. Like
I'm sure it's electric.
you're a junior, right?
Bro.
This is your third year on campus, and
Fuck
you've
yeah.
dealt with, you've like you don't even go to games because they're so atrocious. You don't care about. No one cares about that football program. Suddenly, you got Prime as your coach. You got an influx of talent.
You got The Rock.
You got the Rock showing up on campus. You got College Game Day.
Pat McAfee.
How much fun?
Offsets there.
How much fun would it be to be a Colorado student right now?
Colorado student would be a great time, and of course, I'd be drinking the Kool-Aid like anybody else.
I too have a little buff fatigue.
Yes,
It's a lot.
It's more like that. I'm fatigued more than I'm steaming.
Are you getting buffood?
No, David. Can you grow up, man?
Are you fucking just trying
We've
to do
had a glaring lack of alerts in the group chat. I will say that. But
The
go
only
on,
th-
go on.
Jackson State?
if I had to steam on anything Colorado related right now, it would just be that the fixation is on the coach, which is like something that you don't really see too much in sports. Like it's the coach is primary and everything. I didn't mean to do a pun there. Everything else is kind of secondary. Like they're good.
Don't apologize for puns.
You know what I mean? Like
Give
it's
shit-
like
like,
it's so
you're-
much about the coach right now.
Dabo,
And I get it. He's Deion Sanders. He's
Dabo,
prime
Nick
time.
Saban. Who else?
Who is their OC? Their OC should get all the credit in the world, and so should Shador. He's awesome.
He's good.
And
Which he
that
is. I
receiver,
believe he's
Edwards,
top five-ish.
Shador.
Yeah, I believe he's top five-ish, and Heisman
Kuiper
actual
put him,
voting
like-
doesn't come out until later, but he's up there.
Second, I think, behind Drake May.
Yeah,
on his
it's-
big board.
On
Yeah.
his big board. I was like, that might be a little early, much. But
Okay.
But hey, good for them. It's fun. It's fun for college football. I think it is a bit much, but it's fun.
David, where do you land?
it feels like Michael Block syndrome. Like we're just
Oh,
we're like
Okay.
Twitter fixation for
Okay.
a couple weeks, and then something's gonna happen where
They're
like
going to lose a game soon, and then it's going to quiet down a bit.
Yeah. So I won't worry about it now. But the clock stoppage rules I have true problems with because you're getting like 10 to 12 less
Hold on,
plays per
let me
game.
bang a 20 here. Let me bang a 20.
Yeah.
David, weigh in on Colorado before we move on to clock stoppage here.
Bang a 20.
I am not going to criticize the fans for rushing the field. Nope. Even though they were supposed to absolutely annihilate, it was a personal matter. I don't know if you saw that. My only issue with Colorado was I thought that Mike Norvell,
The Colorado State coach?
Colorado
Yeah.
State coach, I feel like his quote, like the entirety of his quote, he was very complimentary of Dion, and I understand. It just didn't seem like that big of a deal. And anytime I see like every personality, every ESPN associated personality just riding so hard for this one program, I'm like, okay, I obviously love seeing primetime on the sidelines. I think it's awesome. Former Cowboy great. But it's like, all right, getting a little bit crazy here. The game day performance, while electric with The Rock, it was just like, damn, dude, we're 3 weeks into this thing. And you did allude to them not beating anybody. I will say TCU is going to be a contender for the Big 12 this year. Not saying much. Big 12 kind of sucks outside of a couple teams. I'm glad they won that game, but it was nice to see a competitive game. I went to bed, sadly, but I don't know. I'm not ready for them to get humbled yet. And when they lose to Oregon by double digits, which they will, that's not really being humbled, I don't think. I mean, I don't think anybody actually thinks they're going to win that game. So anyway, that's all I got.
I'll add only this. I felt exactly how Brett does. I agree, and I also fell asleep with what David said. And I fell asleep like, I don't know, 2-3 minutes on the clock, down 8 or something. I was like, yeah. I even put it on the charger, like one of the MagSafe chargers, whatever, propped up next to my bed, thinking I'm going to stay awake watching it. No, asleep immediately. I'll say this. We went into last weekend thinking it was an absolute, utter piece of crap slate for college football. Whether it was all manufactured or what, Colorado delivered like entertainment in the morning with what they did for game day, which we all think is a pretty spare product at this point, but it was entertaining. You know, a very energized crowd in a very picturesque setting. You got what you showed up for, if you will. And then the game was entertaining as hell. Line aside, the teams aside, from a neutral party standpoint, it was a very entertaining college football game. So I'm a little tired of it. I agree. I think TCU sucks. Whether or not they do, I just think TCU sucks. But they filled the void that we had this weekend. No other game was going to be worth watching.
Yeah. Shout out to the Rams also for being a worthy opponent.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected that game to be close, especially since the comments that they made.
Legitimately controlled the game.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy.
Jay Norvell is the coach at Colorado State. Mike, famously at Florida State.
Ah, yeah. Classic.
Oh, yeah. Good catch.
Okay, good pull,
former
Brett.
Texas OC, right? Wasn't he at Texas before, Dylan?
He was
say yes.
At Oklahoma. He was the receivers coach. I don't think he was ever OC.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's next?
All right. Okay. On to the clock.
Yeah, I'll just quickly. I think the clock stopping, they had it so that games would be shorter, but they're just making the games the same amount of time with more commercials, which is just such a college football move, NCAA move. I don't have any. It's just purely a steam. I'm like, why are we doing this? It's turning games with weird flow. Like the clock doesn't stop on the first down anymore. Out of bounds is weird. Like it's just weird rules, and it's affecting gameplay, in my opinion.
Okay,
that's it. Just like an offense like Ole Miss who goes fast, it affects their capacity to.
I think it allows for more upsets too. Teams because can shorten games.
You're limiting you have fewer possessions. I mean, truly fewer possessions.
Okay.
And so I don't like that.
I guess I didn't really recognize that angle. I felt like it allowed for more blowouts because it allowed fewer teams to come back into the game. But theoretically, if you were, had an early start like USF on Alabama, keeping things ugly, and Alabama's offense is off to a slow start, lightning delays, blah, blah, blah. I guess it could keep you in it if you're limiting the number of opportunities that the better team has to get the ball back. So I hadn't considered that. Otherwise, it really, really sucks to be following a team like SMU when they're playing OU or crap. There was another game in week 2 where the comeback was absolutely squashed by the fact that a team got a first down with like 2 minutes and 6 seconds on the clock. And the clock ran to about 1 minute 36 seconds.
Yeah.
If you're going to keep this rule, give me a 2-minute warning.
I like
which is
that,
a dumb
KJ.
rule in the NFL, but you've got to bring something back to balance. If you really feel like it's important for clocks to stop at 2 minutes, then stop it at 2 minutes.
I was
and then
watching
go
the
from
same
there.
game you were. I don't know if maybe it was the Florida State BC game, but it was literally got a first down at like 2:03, and
Yeah.
the clock ran down another 40 seconds. And it's just I don't think that's why the rule was designed in the first place. So I agree with you on the 2-minute warning.
Basically makes if you have anything less than 3 timeouts at that point in the game, you cannot afford, you won't get the ball back.
Mhm.
With 2 timeouts, with the 2-minute warning, you can. With 3, you obviously can, but without it, you cannot.
And
Go ahead.
so I was just gonna say it's going to show up in a massive game later this year. That's my personal guarantee.
While we got you here as an Ole Miss donor,
Mhm.
how do you feel about facing Jalen Milroe?
He's
back, Dylan.
Oh, I know it.
He's electric. I mean, he truly is. He is big play, just waiting to happen. They don't always happen. He's extremely fast. He's extremely explosive. He can throw a deep ball. Accuracy has been the issue, and decision making has been the issue. And I don't trust the Ole Miss defense right now. They just play bend but don't break. And so, in my opinion, it's going to have to be like a 41-38 game. And I don't like that when you're limiting the number of possessions.
They are a little bendy on that defense, right?
They will bend. They will bend. Have you seen the booty chatter that Milroe was actually suspended, not benched,
Oh, I did not see
for
that.
the recent game?
Any reason why?
He didn't handle the loss to Texas well and had some kind of outburst, I think, in the locker room after the game, something along those lines. This is mostly hearsay, but a lot of people talking about it.
Is this Orange Bloods?
No. If you look up Milroe suspended on Twitter, a lot of people are talking about it. So he's back this week. So
Was he allowed to play special teams?
funny. No, I don't believe so. That's not the Saban way.
Man.
I've not watched an ounce of Mississippi football this year. I obviously will in the upcoming weeks as they play Bama this weekend, LSU the following weekend, and Arkansas after that, which I guess some of those are competitive teams. I don't know. But respect to them having played Georgia Tech, who's surprisingly decent this year, and Tulane, who I think we all picked Tulane that week.
Yeah, they've been closer games than the scores would indicate. Ole Miss is not dominating the trenches, which also concerns me against Bama. Their offense has been explosive. They've had guys injured that they get back this week. Judkins hasn't looked like himself. I know he's banged up. Apparently, he's dealing with a rib. I don't know. I really truly don't have a lean. I'm not going to be a homer and just say can't wait to go beat Bama. They're still Bama. Ole Miss hasn't blown anybody away but Mercer so far. I'm excited for the game. I'm nervous for the game. I don't think if they lose, it's the end of the season. Georgia all of a sudden looks interestingly vulnerable. Slow starts the last couple of weeks, and then South Carolina had a 14-3 lead on them, and at halftime. So in LSU, they beat up on Mississippi State, but they looked pedestrian the first couple of weeks. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see on the Ole Miss front, but it's been a fun. People talking about the SEC being down, then Tennessee going to Georgia and losing after Georgia looked like shit. Nobody looks
Florida.
like world beaters. Yeah, Florida. Well, that's right. So shout out to Mizzou getting the K-State dub this weekend. The thicker kicker. Just a fun week 3 that didn't necessarily look like it was going to be fun.
What's the smoke on Kiffin saying that Bama's DC, Kevin Steele?
Yeah, said it looks like Robinson. Is it Tavarius Robinson, who's like an Alabama
Travaris.
assistant?
Yeah, he's a
Robinson.
cornerbacks coach.
They said based on the film they've been watching, it looks like Steele is not the one calling plays, which obviously you need some sort of inside info, and which he would have given who he's been in that building before. But Nick Saban clarified in his presser today that Kevin Steele is in fact still the DC.
Is that just a psyop? Is that a little gamesmanship?
Of course. This whole week, that's what Lane does. It's just he's on Twitter tweeting like, "Oh man, hardest place to play in the world. Can't wait to go to Bama." Just being Lane.
Okay.
Just being Lane. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited for the game. I'm nervous for the game. But it's fun to have 3-0. That's all you can ask for.
Can I ask a Texas question?
Yeah.
Okay. University of Texas. Dylan went to the game famously.
Did.
Played Wyoming. Wyoming, a good program. Good program. Beat Tech.
Sure did.
This game was on the Longhorn Network, so I didn't get to watch.
More on that in Sports Party, by the way.
And should I find out that what I'm about to ask about was a tribute to 9/11, then I reserve the right to amend my take. But do we need a flyover for a game that's only available on the Longhorn Network? Because there was a flyover, and yet I couldn't watch that game because most people couldn't watch the game. And I'm just like, why are we doing a flyover? It's Wyoming. Unless, again, I find out that it was a tribute, in which case I support it, and flyovers are inherently badass. More flyovers, great. Let's do it. I was just curious what was going on there.
The Longhorn Network piece of it, I don't really. I mean, it's mostly for the people who are in the stadium. It's much cooler in person than it is on TV. It is cool on TV, but I will never complain about a flyover ever. It's the coolest shit of all time.
I saw them doing their little, circling, waiting to do the flyover. Kind of over on the south side of town. So I was like, oh.
Fucking love it, man.
It was very cool.
It gets me horned every time.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. 9/11 tribute would be my best guess.
Okay.
But it was, like you said, it was Wyoming game, first night. I don't know.
The night game thing does make sense too.
KJ has his hand raised.
Watch me walk it back in real time.
Of all of the events to commemorate with a flyover.
Okay.
KJ.
All right.
Did you see the Auburn flyover?
No.
They do it right. That sucker was like 100 feet above the stadium. The little bitch flyovers that they're like a mile high. You just like, okay, cool. Like that looks like a normal airport.
You want to feel the sonic boom?
I want small children to cry after a flyover.
I like the B2. The B2 ones are sick.
Yeah.
Because you get to look in, like, it's slower, right? So you get to kind of, oh yeah, check it out. There's a line right there.
A delayed sonic boom too, right? It doesn't happen.
I don't think the
I don't know.
don't think there's sonic
I feel
boom in
like
the
it
stadium.
didn't.
That would be dangerous.
It didn't hear the same way. I don't know.
Oh, here goes Brett talking aviation again.
Here we
Relax.
go. I am almost team like Apache helicopter or whatever.
Yeah, give me a Chinook.
I think the Chinook.
Yeah, Texas did that a few years back, and it was cool.
Was that on ESPN Plus, that game? I'm just kidding.
I don't know. That was the last Longhorn Network Texas football game, though, and for that I am very thankful.
Last night or Saturday?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, I didn't know
Which is why
that.
I have in the sports party, Dylan says goodbye to the Longhorn Network, and nobody will miss it.
Longhorn Network.
I saw that in there, and I thought maybe you were just boycotting it, but no.
There's also another angle to it. I mean, we can just talk about it now if you want.
Yeah,
I mean, I think one of the reasons that Texas is ranked third in the AP poll is because that game was on Longhorn Network. I think people didn't get a chance to watch the game and just saw, Texas won 31-10 against an inferior opponent. So let's keep them ranked, high. However,
they had their starting quarterback too, though, right?
it was tied 10-10 going into the fourth quarter.
that's tough, KJ. I didn't realize that. That was a backup stitch.
It wasn't even the quarterback who beat Tech. It was a different quarterback.
I think Wyoming's good. I mean,
It's a scrappy
watching
team. It's a tough team.
the entire Tech game and the entire Texas game, I'm like, that's not just a bad team.
Okay. I like Wyoming. Good program. Like I said.
Can we credit Yellowstone for this? Who knows? You can't say that Wyoming's rise hasn't coincided with the wild popularity amongst
Yeah, I don't see it.
demographics in America.
Don't see that really.
Love Yellowstone.
They got a lot of Wyatts and Levis on that team.
That's sick.
shall believe us.
That's sick. Dude.
Yeah, I had something else, but again with the lack of sleep, whatever. Oh, Quinn. Does Quinn only get up for big games? What's going on here?
This is, you play Bama, and they played lights out very well, won the game on the road. Classic letdown game. I don't know, man. The team looked very flat. Quinn was not sharp. The offense was extremely watered down. Not very much like pre-snap motion, which Sark is very known for. It was just a very vanilla game plan. And nobody on offense was really sharp until the fourth quarter. Defense gave up one long run for a touchdown early in the first quarter. And then they clamped it down. They shut it down after that. But I love the defense. The offense appears to be pretty inconsistent at this point, which is definitely a concern. I don't know what the hell was going on. They fourth quarter was much better than the first three, thankfully.
Maybe he didn't want to show Dave Aranda anything as they go into Waco on night game, ABC primetime game.
But after you go to Bama and you just let it rip and there's the game tapes out there. So it's like, what are you doing? Just let it ride. Let's go.
Hey, did you know that Long Island has a football program, and not only that, but they actually hung with Baylor for a significant portion of the first half.
Baylor might not be very good.
Ooh, is Aranda hot seat?
Yes.
Situation? Yeah.
Very much so. I'm wondering how early
Hottest
is too early
in
to
the
go
Big 12?
Matt Campbell.
Maybe.
Oh, you see.
Matt Campbell's trying to fight fans.
Yeah, because they said hot seat.
Getting beat by MAC teams. Yikes. Go Bobcats.
Or
Tech?
Mike Gundy.
Oh, great point.
How do you start your son at quarterback and lose by like 4 touchdowns to South Alabama?
He's got many more years
I think
of
hot
success.
seat talk is always like a little overblown, but I would say Dave Aranda. I'm always going to butcher the pronunciation or enunciation. Dave Aranda is much safer than Matt Campbell and Gundy, I would say.
Matt Campbell used to be like
He was a hot name.
Ohio State
NFL
kind of job.
Was it NFL? Yeah, wasn't he rumored like
he
for the
declined
Bears
an interview with the Jets.
The Jets.
He declined. He turned down interviews in the NFL. The ones that Matt Rule was like, yeah, sure, I'll take every single one.
Yeah,
Rightfully so.
I'll say the only thing Aranda's got going is that he legitimately won a Sugar Bowl and won the conference two years ago.
Yeah.
But last year was ass.
Corral got hurt. So
That's true. That is true. He did get hurt.
Just saying.
21-0?
7.
Yeah. So I I will say that the Baylor insiders, aka my brother-in-law, they are putting
Insiders.
Aranda on the hot seat. Very much so.
Okay,
And
fair.
you know what? Some were saying maybe GJ Kinney, what this guy's doing down San Marcos way.
Here we go.
77-35 over Jackson State at home. You're hosting recruits, LSU commits. You got like 4 or 5 kids from noted powerhouse 6A state champ Duncanville down there to watch that. That offense is so fun. That's a fun. If there's no other games on, and you go to ESPN Plus and you see T State's playing, put it on. Because they are a fun team.
Let's not talk about it. Let's be about it, Dave. Going on to San Marcos for Dylan's birthday. Let's get weird on the square.
Okay, Dylan, is that what we're doing?
No, we are not.
Why not?
Go down San Marcos way.
Would that be sad to do your 40th at San Marcos?
It'd be very depressing.
Yes.
Very depressing.
That's doing your 16th at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
We do need to go to a game.
Yeah, Nevada's in town next week. Louisiana Monroe, the 14th. Troy at T-State, the 28th of October.
Okay.
We're going to a game.
right.
Georgia Southern might be interesting.
They're gonna. Those are all teams that can play with T-State. But what matters is they're competitive and their offense is really fun, and they're actually like recruiting, which I know we always harp on that, mainly me, but they have not done that in many years. So.
Are you donating to the NIL efforts of T-State, Dave?
I donated enough to be a member of the Bobcat Club, and there's a brick with my name on it somewhere, maybe in the stadium. That's not true. That was an option. I don't know if they're still doing the bricks. No, it's not a Brett joke. Don't worry, Brett. There actually is a brick thing.
I think I have a brick on Northeastern's campus somewhere too.
What else?
Can I talk Boston College, Florida State quick?
Oh, yes.
Florida State might not be that good. And no slight to Boston College, but they had Florida State on the ropes, down 2, late in the fourth. Chance to get the ball back. And unfortunately, Boston College committed their 18th penalty of the game.
That's too many penalties.
A program record 18 penalties, the last of which being a face mask, a personal foul as they were about to go get the ball back, like I said, and a chance to drive down, kick a field goal, and win it. But the just totally unnecessary face mask clinched the game for Florida State. Just an absolute, I don't know what to say. They just totally blew it.
The fact that they were all, like about to do that with 17 penalties is insane.
The commentators, they're like, that's a fitting way for this game to end.
The commentators were like mad. Did you hear? They go, "What are you doing?"
It was going to be an electric finish, and some just a stupid penalty that didn't need to happen. 18 penalties. So Florida State, I think they fell a couple spots in the AP poll. They're at 4 now, I think, or
fell behind Texas.
Interesting.
There was a weird point in that game. Dave, you're an analytics guy. You might be able to tell me why. They were down 2 scores. BC was down 2 scores. BC scores. Game is now a 10-point game before the 2-point, or excuse me. Basically, if you take the extra point, it becomes an 8-point game. If you go for 2, it becomes a 7-point game if you get it. They missed the 2-point conversion. It's now a 9-point game. Why would they go for 2? Is that an analytics play down 2 scores to do the 2-point conversion first versus the second time to tie the game?
I would never do it that way. Because if you don't get it, then
it's still a 2-score game.
It completely
Wait, hold on.
railroads
Reset
your
for me. You
chances.
said, I'm sorry to be out of it. I was trying to figure out where their head coach came from. So you said they were down 15 and they went for 2?
Yes,
on
they're
the first
down,
possession as opposed to the second?
Exactly, yes. Down 15, score a touchdown. They went for 2 instead of kicking the extra point to make it an 8-point game. And
we saw this a couple years ago.
Cowboys did it, right?
And it might have been the Cowboys, but all the analytics nerds came out in defense of the thought of allowing yourself more time to get the 2 possessions you would need as opposed to running 1 play to win the game. You presumably would have more time on the clock to get a field goal, get the ball back, and score again, and not need the 2-point conversion. I feel like that's the argument that came out. I don't agree with it personally. I think I vehemently was against it in the moment, but I think that's what came out at the time.
BC also, it miraculously worked, but they were still down that 9, had 4th and 3 from like the 7-yard line and went for it instead of kicking the field goal to make it a 1-score game. Which again, the commentators what are you doing? They happen to score a touchdown on the play, so it all works out. But why are you just refusing to make it a 1-score game automatically? I don't know.
That's that's honestly like a AP level analytics question.
It has to be
in
like
my head
he's
right
got
now.
some chart sitting there, got to do it.
Yeah, I'm almost positive this came up with the Cowboys a couple years ago, and McCarthy, Kellen Moore decided to do what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had it explained to me. We have friends who are big analytics guys, and I still never, my little brain couldn't comprehend why you would do that. So I'm not the guy to ask. I apologize. You wanted more from me, and I didn't give it to you.
That's okay, Dave.
It's all right, man.
Anything else?
Washington looks awesome. I love Michael Penix.
He's a baller.
USC, I can't wait for them to play like a Colorado. And
2 weeks.
Sam Hartman is my Heisman candidate right now. Outside of like a Caleb Williams, and I don't think
That dude's hot, by the
Hartman, he's lumberjack hot.
He's a heartthrob.
Hartman is quarterback for
Notre Dame.
No, Notre Dame, not North Carolina's Drake May, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they've looked good as well. But
Washington finishes the season. They've got USC, Utah. So it's at USC, at home against Utah, at Oregon State, at home against Washington State.
yeah,
That's Pac-12, man.
Mm-hmm.
Really fun.
If the Pac-12 puts multiple teams in the final 4-team playoff, that would just be beautiful.
Do they have? Is the Pac-12
very, very feasible?
I mean, this is a dumb. They don't have a championship game, do they? So they can't give somebody another loss.
Yeah, they do now. They do.
They do now. Okay, I thought they were still a holdout. That was like, nope, conference is done, which would make sense in putting 2 teams in.
It's like the Big 12 is the last holdout. I could be wrong.
It was the
about
Big 12 when they had 9 teams.
Got it.
They have it again.
Yeah, I somebody had a tweet thread about like what this looks like if Dion to Colorado happens before this year. Like I know like this, it doesn't make any sense in the timeline, but it's just saying how that would have inherently saved the Pac-12 most likely. And
It would have probably made Colorado more confident in not being the first ship to fall of like bailing to the Big 12.
yeah,
I can see that conversation happening, but like the TV deal still wouldn't have been there.
Mhm.
Yeah. USC, Oregon, UCLA, and then when Utah gets back rising and Washington, like you've got 5 teams at least at this point in the season. You're not making me more excited about that many teams in the SEC or that many teams in the Big 10 or Big 12 right now. So
It's just going to be
Interesting.
the cannibal situation.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think that happens at every conference. Let me ask you 2 things, Dave, before I bounce. Are these 2 teams any good? Penn State and Oklahoma.
I've not been a Dylan Gabriel guy. My UCF friend has just, when he made the move, he was like, "No, dude, he's not a good quarterback." He looks more confident.
We don't know anything about Oklahoma yet. They might be really good, but they have played nobody.
You're not a big Tulsa Golden
Sorry,
Hurricane
KJ.
fan?
Well,
Yikes.
and SMU gave them a game.
exactly. Look at the other 2 games. SMU was a competitive game. I think that's
No
reflective of the
offense.
fact that Oklahoma is good.
They
Oklahoma's
might be
good.
really good, but we just don't know yet. Is my point.
SMU,
They
by the
sure
way,
they
doesn't
sure
know. I
look
get it.
impressive against not good teams.
I haven't
So,
watched a snap yet, so I'm going to give the Texas game will be my entire opinion of Oklahoma will be formed on 1 game.
fair enough.
Penn State. I've got nothing on.
You're not a Drew Allaire supporter?
No, I haven't watched any Penn State. Do I need to be?
I think you might need to be. I think they're kind of a sneaky team, and they're
Okay.
7th, so they're not even sneaky. But Penn State, Ohio
it's
State,
because Ohio State's struggling. Like Michigan has not coached with Harbaugh yet, so like it's Michigan's side of the conference until otherwise said. The Big Ten's not strong this
Where's
year.
Purdue
Penn
in all
State's
this?
their only threat.
Doing
Playing
nerd
Wisconsin
shit?
this
Yeah,
Thursday.
They'll
right?
win 3 games max. I'm out on football. Screw
Wow.
Purdue. They lost. Screw Purdue. Screw the
You need to
Bears.
adopt a new team.
Everything sucks.
All right, doesn't want to be here anymore. KJ, SMU, with the capital campaign they have going on right now, are they about to Saudi Prince their way to the top of the Big 12?
Of the ACC.
Oh, they went ACC?
We're
Are they
ACC
going
along
ACC?
with
Gotcha.
They're
Stanford
paying.
and Cal.
That's right.
I had the conversation with myself earlier that would it be weird for us to just go buy back Sonny Dykes?
No. Why not?
Like he would have stayed had we had an invite to Big 5, whatever. Anyways, we're way beyond. And I definitely at least want some airplay phone conversation from Brett. So I'll shut up on college football.
Brett, can you stick around and give us the rundown on Babcock?
I can.
Real quick. All right. But before we do that, can I give a shout out to our next partner? Our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it literally every day. You know what I did this morning, Dylan?
Drink AG1
Yeah.
to start your day.
Did you do that too?
That's how I start every day. Why would you even have to ask me that?
I don't know. I'm just checking. I like to keep tabs on
Yeah.
you. I'm worried about you.
Makes me feel like I'm doing something right.
It
you know?
does, man. That's why we gave it a try. I drink it in the morning on an empty stomach. Sometimes I'll drink it before working out. Makes me feel great. Makes me feel like I'm ready to take on the day. It's a stressful gig we've got here. We got to talk and be funny and have banter. I like starting my day with AG1.
Optimized.
Optimize. Why take a bunch of different things when you can just mix 1 scoop of powder and water once a day? Why? I don't like taking a bunch of pills.
I don't either.
No.
Sneaky tastes really good too.
It does. AG1 helps you build your health. Every scoop is packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and whole food sourced ingredients of high quality that give me major benefits like gut and mood support, boosted energy, and even healthier looking skin, hair, and nails. If you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/bang. That's drinkag1.com/bang. Check it out. What's going on in Columbus?
Well, let me break some news real quick. Mel Tucker fired for cause at Michigan State. That is a lot of money left on the table because you're too hard. So for those who are not super big into the hockey world, Dave, Mike Babcock was the coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets, a podcast, a couple former colleagues of mine, Spittin' Chicklets, Biz and Wit, kind of broke a story on the show that they had heard from some Columbus Blue Jackets players that Coach Babcock was asking to see pictures on their phone and airplaying them in a team meeting to the big screen.
That's nightmare fuel.
Yeah, nightmare fuel. Basically, what happens after this is the Blue Jackets come out, deny it. Mike Babcock releases a statement about a week ago that's like, "Oh yeah, I was asking to see their pictures of their family, to get to know them a little bit." This is his first year coming in. He's a rookie, not a rookie head coach, but his first year with the Blue Jackets. Just trying to get to know my guys better. Wanted to see pictures of their dogs, their family, and then an NHL investigation goes underway. More guys come out and say, no, he was just asking to go through our phones and see our pictures. And then he resigned today so as to not be a distraction to the team. That's the reason he gave.
That is bizarre.
Very bizarre.
Okay. Question. Would you rather your boss go through your camera roll or your group text?
My camera roll is very boring right now, so I would choose that.
A lot of memes.
It's memes and just pictures of Parks and my dog, mostly.
That rocks.
Stella is her name. So yeah, I would choose that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably go camera roll too. I don't have there's just a lot of sunsets and stuff in there.
I'm trending camera. I think that's because the group text, context is everything, right?
What did they see in these pictures? I mean, was that revealed?
Yeah, the context
I
is
don't
there
know.
in the group text. I don't know that I can explain away some of my recent memes that definitely won't be posted that might show up in this.
Yeah, you guys went a different direction with the meme that we threw in there this
The
morning.
Takeo Spikes meme?
Yeah, we were thinking something completely different, and you guys just really showed off your Photoshop skills. Shout out to you and Landry.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, no, and so Mike Babcock, kind of a noted scumbag coach, just kind of a dickhead to players. Has never been a player's coach. He's not your friend, Dave. He is your coach, though.
My friend would never ask to airplay my camera roll.
Yeah, and just kind of one of those things where it's not the first time he's done something to piss off players. Enough players have come out that have played for him now in Columbus, in Toronto, and in Detroit that have said very similar things, that he has to go through their phone, their texts, their pictures.
What?
And he is now without a job because he's such a dickhead.
Yikes! So did he resigned? So no payout or nothing.
He resigned.
He resigned.
I'm not sure what that means for his golden parachute. I'm sure he's got a cottage somewhere.
It's probably a blue parachute because Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Hey, Dylan's here. And Brett's here too. Dylan, where are you at on the preseason thus far? NHL.
Oh, I know that my Golden Knights are like 4-0.
Yeah, I thought you
It's
knew about that.
disgusting that you're even aware.
Yeah, that might even just be the prospect
I
challenge.
follow them on Twitter. That's how I know. Yeah,
Got
big
it.
Golden Knights guy. Stanley Cup champions, by the way.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
I haven't been waiting one of those for a long time or anything.
So I was not aware of the Mike Babcock saga.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Okay.
Based on what I've heard.
See ya, buddy.
Bye. On that note, thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for hopping on,
I'll
Brett.
pull a Mike Babcock
Thank
and
you,
resign
Brett.
from this podcast.
Hey, plug Cold Stove right quick.
Hop on Cold Stove. We haven't done an episode in a minute, but if we do continue that show into the winter, it'll be at Cold Stove Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Cold Stove. Check it out.
Official prediction for Bama-Ole Miss.
Ole Miss 41, Bama 38. 38-38 going into the and I'll predict a last-second 54-yard field goal off the leg of Caden Davis, former
Wow.
A&M
And
great.
if by chance that comes true, they can find your written musings at
washed.substack.com. I'll drop the college football article this week, Fixing the Sport, Dave.
Cool. I hope you guys have set aside 45 minutes to read it.
It's a long one.
It's going to be good. I've got a little bit of insight. What?
Just have it's 2023. You can hit play audio.
Yeah,
The
you
internet
can
will
listen
read
to
Do we
the
have that
article.
option?
Can I?
I listen to like 90% of my articles.
Really?
I don't listen to memes, by the way, but I listen to like most of the stuff on the internet.
I don't know if we have that option.
I'm pro accessibility.
Yeah, I don't
Can
think
you-
the text there that yet for watched media. Sorry. Well, maybe we'll.
Use your browser, use your phone. It happens. It works. I've done it.
Okay. Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
You're the
Dennis.
man,
Thank you,
Brett.
KJ.
We'll
Brett's
see
hair's
ya.
been looking really, really good lately.
He's a floppy-headed
Real
frog.
Morgan
Looks-
Wallen-esque.
Very, very thick. Which is interesting because our next
He doesn't
partner
have
is
his headphones
Nutrafol.
on, so I can say these things.
Nutrafol. You don't have to choose between better hair growth and your health. You just don't. There's a holistic solution for men that promotes both healthier hair and whole body wellness. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Nutrafol's hair growth nutraceuticals go beyond genetics to multi-target the root causes of thinning, including stress, hormones, nutrition, metabolism, aging, and lifestyle through whole body health. Dylan, you and I both use this stuff every day. I mean, you can't tell now because you're rocking the hat, but you got some serious lettuce going on.
I'm
there.
going on like a year and a half, I think, I've taken this stuff consistently, and I've definitely noticed a difference. I also feel more energetic when I take it, believe it or not. It does more than just hair, even though the hair is what it does best, but it has some other benefits as well.
Well, here's the thing. It's physician formulated using natural medical grade ingredients. Nutrafol's drug-free patented technology provides consistent, reliable results without compromising your sexual health. In a clinical study, men showed progressive improvement in hair growth and thickness after 3 and 6 months. Nutrafol is also trusted and recommended by more than 3,000 top doctors. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code DIP to save $10 off your first month subscription. This is only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus free shipping on every order. Get $10 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code DIP. Are you ready for some football?
NFL talk, baby.
I've got an answer, even though we're over. Sorry, I didn't do that on key. Really quick, because it was killing my brain. When to go for 2. Noted odds makers, algorithm makers, I don't know. 538 wrote a whole long article, a lot of words that you can listen to with your phone. If the margin after the touchdown is 9. Better options are the same. Your odds of winning are neither increased or decreased by going for 2 or kicking the extra point. It's like with a small margin of error, 2.9 versus 3.3 if you go for 1 or 2. So that's why analytics kind of speaks to it. Doesn't make sense in my sports brain, but that's what it is.
Okay.
Anyways, go.
I'll remember that if I'm ever calling plays. Speaking of calling plays, what's up with the Jags?
Eh,
The offense, look,
it's
I'm salty because fantasy alert, fantasy guy, Trevor Lawrence, my guy. I really was feeling like, they're AFC Championship caliber team this year. That game sucked, which is a testament to the defenses. Chris Jones, noted monster, he's back. But I'm just not feeling it yet. I know it's 2 games in, but I wanted to see if you wanted to have the platform to talk Jags.
Yeah. Chris Jones being back, very timely, by the way, very convenient for them. It sucked because he had an impact immediately. It was a very frustrating game to watch. I've got a good friend who's a Chiefs fan who, in the past, we would bet on these games. Now that it's 8 straight losses by the Jags, I've kind of learned my lesson. I even kind of dial back shit talking to a certain degree. This was a very winnable game for the Jags. We talked about Boston College earlier with their 18 penalties. The Chiefs had something similar to that. They played a terrible game from like a, penalty standpoint, and we turned them over 3 times. The Jags, that is. The Jags went 0-7 for touchdowns inside of the 20-yard line. You just absolutely cannot do that. Like the whole concept of you're not going to win, kicking field goals against XYZ or whatever. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes falls into that category. You don't win these games kicking field goals. You cannot win these games when you have 4 completed passes that were actually incomplete that would have been touchdowns if your receivers would have been able to get their toes down or if the ball would have been 3 inches lower. And it wasn't like fitted into a position where only the receiver can catch it. Trevor Lawrence is good enough to where like you have that consistent miss, you start to realize like something was just slightly off mechanically in the red zone in his passes to where Zay Jones had 2 different touchdowns that were not completed because they got 1 foot down. The other one wasn't even close. Calvin Ridley had 1, and I want to say Christian Kirk, separate story, but there were at least 3 that would have been touchdowns on 3 different drives.
It did seem like a
killed the
crazy
game.
amount watching that game out the back. Of
They
the
were
end zone.
moving the ball. They were effective in
Yeah.
completing these passes, but they were not closing out drives. Lastly, Christian Kirk, who some would say they overpaid prior to knowing that they'd get Calvin Ridley. He had like 2 or 3 touches in week 1 when they won. He had like 11 in week 2. It was very clear they made like a concerted effort to get him the ball. He produced. He had a great week, but it came at the cost of getting the ball to Travis Etienne in the red zone. There was a huge lack of effort to run the ball in the red zone. Part of that because of Chris Jones and the aforementioned defensive front from the Chiefs, but they could not produce in the red zone. And a lot of that had to do with what worked in week 1 against the Colts was getting the ball to Etienne in the red zone. They didn't do it. They lost. Sucked. They still will be a top 4 AFC team at the end of the year.
Ooh, wow. Not the punctuator
I mean, that's
I
not
thought
saying
we
a
were getting.
ton. Yeah, it's not saying a ton, but like, yeah, they're going to playoffs, second round of playoffs with very confident still. Same place they were last year.
Is there a better player in the NFL on either side of the ball than Micah Parsons? We've moved on to the Cowboys.
Right now, no.
I know he is, we talked about it this morning. He is very, very fun to watch, especially when you're pulling for the team that he is on. Do you worry about him breaking down? Because he doesn't take plays off unless they literally have him off the field. If you just watch him, even the plays where he doesn't get to the quarterback, just the amount of effort he gives on every play, it's wild. And he did kind of break down a little bit last season. I know he added some muscle over the offseason. But
I don't know if that style of play has like longevity. Yeah, probably. I mean, the dude, when he rushes the quarterback, he's in the backfield every single play. He doesn't always get a sack, doesn't always get a quarterback hurry or get his hands on the quarterback, but he is consistently in the backfield.
disrupting.
He wins pretty much every rep, which is just, it's absolutely wild to watch. He had a forced fumble and recovery last night as well, or yesterday. He's playing on a different level from everyone else on the field at all times.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's really fun to watch. KJ, say something negative about Micah. Go ahead. I know you want to.
I have nothing to say negative about Micah Parsons. I struggle to find like a mental equivalent of like, I don't think any of us have watched Aaron Donald enough to be like, oh, I understand why he's a 99 overall. Everybody says unquestionably the best player in the NFL, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think we all kind of just buy into people smarter than us when we say that. And then when we see him play, he jumps out on the screen. Watching like Micah Parsons almost like every play, every game is a different experience. Not saying better than Aaron Donald, but it's probably like what Aaron Donald fans have experienced. It reminds me a little bit of like early JJ Watt years of like, oh, where is he at?
Yeah.
He's going to bat down the ball or get a sack or disrupt every single play if they don't run completely away from him. Like that's the kind of impact he's having on the game. And the Cowboys have a knowledgeable D coordinator, and they also are fortunate enough to have the other parts on the other side of the ball. You've got playmaking DBs. You've got what would be a number 1 D end on every other defensive line in the league in DeMarcus Lawrence. And then you add this guy. So like, it's incredible to watch them on defense. I'm guess my one, not negative, but like, let's just chill a little, is that I mean, you're watching Parsons against Mekhi Becton and whatever the hell the Giants have at line. Parsons has done it for 2.5 years or 2 years plus now. So I'm not questioning him, but like, it's their schedule. It's just what it is. I will be eager to see, like, when they're playing the Eagles, him continuing to dominate consistently at this level, or teams who you have like an ounce of respect for their offensive ability. You're not going to see it with Josh Dobbs this weekend. You might see it the following week. If I was in prime, like, Cowboy hater mode, I could also see the Cowboys starting 4-4. And when I go through the schedule, that's just complete BS, but it's also based on how the hell are you not closing out some of these drives? When your defense is playing out of their mind, you're playing effectively, getting the ball to where you want it to be. But I should not know so much about the Cowboys kicker.
It was nice to see him not miss anything yesterday.
Yeah, but you got the ball like inside the 50 2 or 3 times, and they were closed out with field goals. And it's just like,
Yeah.
you don't give me Brandon Cooks being hurt. Like, you've got Michael Gallup.
They were also playing with an undrafted free agent at left tackle? Who filling in for Tyron? Filling in for the other dude?
Tackle, I think Tyler Smith
Tyler
was
Smith,
out, I believe.
Not Tyron.
At right tackle.
Yeah, so they were going.
And then, somebody
think
else was injured.
I think when that happened, you kind of saw them close the playbook a little bit.
Yeah,
and which rightfully so. You don't want to get your somewhat fragile quarterback hit. I will say the drop pick 6 that Sauce had. Why would you? How do you not know where he is at all times? Why would you ever throw that pass when Sauce is on that side, like to his side? You just don't ever throw that pass to him. I don't care who your receiver is. That should have been 6.
It doesn't change the outcome. They still would have won comfortably. Maybe it changes like the Jets' energy. I don't know. Like, once Aaron Rodgers went down, like, we all knew what this game was going to be. I'm kind of, I don't know. It's weird to be like, not rooting for, but like, quote unquote, proud that the Jets weren't a complete F up this week against like a much, much better team. They looked a lot better than the Giants. Like, I'm kind of hoping that Zach Wilson is like, gonna be better. I don't know. It was weird.
I'm as much as we've ragged on Zach Wilson. I do kind of pull for him because it is. What was he, the number 2 pick overall in the Micah Parsons draft? Actually, my sister texted me and she said, I don't think she's aware that we've dubbed it tantrum face. She said that she just out of the blue was like, this Zach Wilson guy's got a psychopath face. And I was like, yeah, he kind of does.
I like tantrum face better.
Yeah.
Like he could just blow his top at any moment.
He looks.
I'm not being defensive.
He will punch the drywall. He will put a hole in some drywall on you if you're not careful. I don't know where you want to go, how much more you want to get into it.
Dolphins. I mean, we know what we saw, but I want to talk Dolphins. We have to at least a bit because that's a team that very Chris Collinsworth transition there.
Yeah, I just wonder what you're doing.
I believe everyone kind of bought in, myself included, after 5 or 6 weeks before Tua got hurt last year. But I don't think I wasn't watching a ton of Dolphins. Shout out to YouTube TV. I can now watch however much I want. But it's been great to see, holy shit, this is a really, really fun team to watch with Tua and Tyreek.
Defense is nasty too.
Yeah.
Which it has been.
Yeah, I hope that Tua's brains don't bounce off the turf anytime soon because I every time he drops back, I'm like, please don't nobody touch him because he feels like he's so fragile right now.
Yeah,
I still have the fingers in my head.
Ooh,
I just worry about him taking a hit.
Yeah.
So if he stays healthy, they could be a really fun team. Really fun.
I didn't see any of the Chargers' disappointment, but I did see the Broncos. So do you want to talk Chargers first?
No, they're just ass, and it's sad because I don't know. Kellen Moore's out there. It's not looking great thus far. Staley hot seat. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel bad for our boy DJ Bean, noted Chargers guy, day one Chargers fan. You know that.
Big Chargers guy.
Let's talk about the Broncos Because you were telling me earlier how you think they're actually going to turn it around and make a run for the
I don't think. Okay. I don't think that they're going to go out and win the AFC West or anything. We mentioned Chargers are ass. The Raiders have kind of been disappointing too. They got blown out yesterday. The Broncos, very, like, I could see them being a close competition for number 2 behind the Chiefs, like 10 plus wins. It's not going to happen. But the way that they were losing games or lost yesterday's game specifically, I think Russell Wilson's getting back to like whatever he used to be. I don't even know what
Unlimited.
that means at this point. He's becoming a little bit more unlimited. And I'm eager to see it. Maybe because they're wide receiver number 1 is an SMU alum, and Cortland Sutton, but I don't know. I don't even like Peyton's face, but I feel like seeing Peyton succeed is something that I'm interested in seeing. I don't know why.
I could see Zach Wilson aging and looking like Sean Payton, like 35 years. If you think about it, it could make sense.
Yeah. He runs out of moms to hook up with. I can see him being angry like that.
There's always moms to hook up with, folks. Yeah. I don't know. What's up with Saquon? Is he hurt? Is he out? I know he got hurt and left, but
sprained ankle. They're hoping it's not a high ankle sprain unless something else has come down the pipeline. But the Giants got to win over the Cardinals. We'll see what the Cardinals are next week. I have no idea how long Kyler's out. I feel like their head coach is going to get basically a free pass. They were picked to be the worst. They're 0-2, but they don't look to be the worst. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see after next week. We'll talk more Cardinals then.
Okay. Any other NFL notes you guys want to touch upon?
Nothing else comes to mind, Dave.
Okay. Hey, when we said we were talking about limited versus unlimited, reminded me that we were talking about Colorado. Master P was on the sideline also. Just wanted to throw that out there. Feel like that cannot be talked about enough.
This is all happening in Boulder, Colorado, by the way. Like,
let's do it in sports party.
Okay, let's sports party. Before we do, I want to give a shout out to our good friends at Rocket Money. Dylan, we both used it. KJ, you've used it.
Mm-hmm.
How nice is it to discover a subscription that you forgot about?
It's glorious.
It's finding money.
Truly reframed my budget, knowing that I had extra dollars back in the funds that I was otherwise spending on things I didn't use.
Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, and chances are you're one of them. I know I was, kind of like that Stars app you just forgot, about after you watch one show, or that free gaming trial you never actually used on the PC that you just built, Randy. Looking at you, involving you in the show. Rocket Money will quickly and easily find your subscriptions for you. And for any you don't want to pay for anymore, just hit cancel and Rocket Money will cancel for you. It's that easy. Rocket Money also helps you manage all your finances in one place and automatically categorize your expenses so you can easily track your budget in real time and also get alerted if anything looks off. I use all of these functions. It's quite nice. I've canceled subscriptions. It's helped me save money. And it's nice seeing, I spent this amount versus that amount last week. Very nice to see every day.
Chances, I feel like, are much better than they are not that you will save some money using this app.
Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person, Dylan, up to $720 a year.
There you go.
You can do a lot with that.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/bang. That's rocketmoney.com/bang. rocketmoney.com/bang. It is time to party. This is a part of the pod where we talk a little bit of sports and we party at the same time. Not that different than what we do the rest of the time, only we've got an audio bed.
And we keep these a little bit brief.
Yes.
What's this Alabama high school band story, Dave?
KJ.
Yes. An Alabama band director was had to be shocked with a stun gun and arrested after Birmingham police reported that he'd been asked to direct his band to stop playing not neck, but
Oh.
actually just stopped playing. It was after a high school game had ended. There was some sort of commotion. It was a big, exciting ending. He kept the band playing, almost somewhat inciting a raucous crowd, if you will. Certainly not helping things disperse. And the band director was like, no, y'all keep it going. And the band listened.
That's
I
tough.
He had
love
to be
that.
wrestled to the ground and stun gunned.
Is this like in Shawshank when he's in the warden's office and he locks the door and he puts the record
It's
on?
exactly like that. Yeah.
That's one of my all-time favorite moments in film. You're a cinema guy.
When your band's just playing that gas, you can't tell them to stop.
Dude, that's a free concert. Who's mad about that?
The stun gun?
You can't stun
That
gun the
seems a
band
little,
director.
excessive, does it
I
not?
wouldn't do that.
Fucking love that.
Do you think that the band kept playing to tempo as his hands twitching on the note, and they're like, burp, burp, burp.
Dude, you know they had that trombone section was just going brazy.
Brass was a problem.
Yeah.
God, man.
Percussion just wouldn't stop banging.
Man.
It's stupid to say high school football in Texas is different, but I don't think people realize that there are bands in Texas that have 500, 600 members. Allen High School being one of them. Duncanville probably has a reasonably sized band as well. The absolute hell that would break loose.
Yeah.
I don't know. DeSoto, South Oak Cliff, so I'm not just completely pulling it out of the weeds. Let's imagine one of those bands was going a little bit off kilter towards the end of that game and continuing to play as people might have thought shots were firing around. Would have been nuts. Shouts to him.
I just don't think you need to stun the band director.
No.
The little feather falls off his head.
His little conductor stick. Do they still use the conductor stick? I always thought that was interesting.
Probably.
Cool. Dylan?
Yeah, the Longhorn Network. This is its final year, I guess, with Texas moving to the SEC next year. And the Wyoming game was the last game that will air, last football game that will air on the Longhorn Network. And goodbye. No one's gonna miss it. I didn't know how to fucking watch the damn thing. So the two games a year that they showed of Texas football, I just knew that I wasn't gonna be able to watch those games unless I was at the game, which I was lucky to be on Saturday. Just a terrible failed experiment. I guess Texas got paid, good for them, but no one wanted it. I guess they wanted it at the beginning, but they realized how poor the programming actually was, and that it was so hard to actually watch. I think it's on fucking DirecTV, and it's just terrible. Not going to miss it. Very happy to see it going away, but also thankful that the Wyoming game was on it because not many people saw Texas not look very good. So,
But into our next note that I have to imagine you put in here.
I did. There are two teams in the Big 12 currently ranked in the AP Top 25, and those are the two teams that will be exiting the Big 12 at the end of the season. Of course, that being Texas and OU.
Rebuttal being the teams that are replacing them doing pretty good.
Okay, cool.
Gonna hurt more
UCF
when,
is. Yeah, I guess they had a close game with Boise, so we'll see what they do against K-State.
Is
But I think
UCF
will be
unranked?
competitive. They're unranked, but
That's
I don't think for
okay.
long. If they beat K-State, they will be.
Okay. Didn't even give love to the journalists out there. Shout out to Mizzou.
Let's run it back real quick.
Okay, no love for Mizzou. Go ahead.
I hate Mizzou,
All right.
except for the journalism school, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Micah. Run it back, the segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. This is a short one this week, kind of a long episode. KJ is wearing wash gear from his toes to his elbows. My co-hosts are
Dippy boxers.
simply too horny. Dave and Brett are having a really difficult time figuring out lunch together.
True.
KJ had to bang a 20 real quick. And then this is a note by Brett. Jay Norvell, Texas wide receiver coach, 2015 and 16, and also born in Madison, Wisconsin. Shout out KJ. That concludes Run It Back.
What a show. Remember, we do a live stream, youtube.com/toomuchdip. We do it every other Thursday. This Thursday, we will be back picking games. We will tweet out the link, or if you want to go on the Google form and pick games with or against us, you can do that. Follow us on the socials, Too Much Dip Pod, Too Much Dip Podcast. And we will see you Thursday, 6:30 Central, Randy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.